At first glance, this eye might look like a photo, but it's actually drawn entirely with pastels. In this video, I'll show you how I exactly achieved this realistic look step by step. I'll walk you through my entire process for creating this realistic dog eye drawing, just from the sketch to building depth, creating that lifelike blink in the eye, and the realistic texture of the fur. Whether you are just getting started with pastels or you've been drawing for a while, you'll pick up techniques to make your artwork look more realistic and full of life. And if you'd like to see the full real-time version of this drawing with every blend, layer and little detail included, you can find it on my Patreon, where I share extended tutorials. The link can be found in the description below. So grab your pencils, get comfortable, and let's bring this dog eye to life. Now, let's talk about materials. For this piece, I used a mix of browns and liver colors from Unison Color and Schmincke's soft pastels. They are a bit pricey, but really worth it. If you are just starting out, a more affordable set like Rembrandt's soft pastels works great too, or whatever you have at hand. Avoid super cheap kit sets, they won't give you a good result. A 30-piece Rembrandt set, even half of the soft pastel, because they sell sets with full pastel sticks and half pastel sticks, so even a half pastel stick set is perfect for testing this medium without spending too much money. You can also try to find second-hand sets. That's what I exactly did when I started using pastels. I bought a set of 30 Rembrandt soft pastels from Facebook Marketplace. For pastel pencils, I used a mix of browns, pinks, liver grey and yellows from several brands, like Stabilo Carbonello, Faber-Castell Pitt, Caran d'Ache and Cretacolor. But again, you don't need to have so many sets to create a successful drawing. I've collected these sets over the years. If you are just starting out, a 24-piece Stabilo Carbonello set is more than enough. I also recommend checking out second-hand options. That's what I did too. I found the Stabilo Carbonello 24 set and the Faber-Castell Pitt set second-hand from Facebook Marketplace, and they worked perfectly. Then I blend using soft tools, which are high-quality blending tools. A bit more expensive, but totally worth it. In my opinion, they are the best tools for applying and blending pastels smoothly and evenly. They are made from flexible silicone tips attached to a knife-shaped handle, similar to a painting brush. They are designed to blend and shape pastel layers with precision. Unlike fingers, soft tools don't absorb pigment, so colors stay vibrant. You can gently drag or dab the silicone tip over the pastel to smooth transitions or create soft edges without damaging the paper. A cheaper alternative to soft tools are eyeshadow sponges. They work surprisingly well for the price and are perfect for beginners. However, never use your fingers to apply pastel, as the natural oils from your skin will reduce the pigment's vibrancy and can damage the artwork over time. You can use a nitrile glove instead to prevent skin oils from touching the pastel pigment. Alright, now let's jump into the base colors and the background. I started with a small background area, laying down a soft gradient that goes from light to dark brown. I was really inspired by fall, those warm tones when the leaves start turning brown, so I wanted to bring a bit of that feeling into this piece. Then I moved on to the Dalmatian fur. I began with the white coat using a soft white pastel, keeping the pressure really light and building it up slowly in thin layers. You don't want to press too hard or fill up the paper's texture too soon. That texture helps later when we add more layers. I used a nitrile glove and soft tools to blend it out gently. It gives such a smooth, natural look. After that, I started working on the Dalmatian patches, those brownish liver spots. I added a liver brown base layer there, again blending softly with my glove and soft tools. Base layers are super important. They are basically the foundation of your whole piece. They set up the tones, help the colors blend better later, and give you a clear direction for lighting and shading. And the key is to take your time, keep your layers light, and don't overblend. Let the paper breathe. Around the eye, I switched to a pinkish color on the outside to bring in some warmth and a natural transition from the white fur to the eye. Then, inside of the eye, I added a few shades of brown to start building up depth and a bit of that soft, realistic look. I used an eyeshadow sponge here because it gives me more control in those tiny spaces. It's small, flexible, and helps me blend really smoothly without overdoing it. You don't need fancy tools for this. Even makeup sponges work great for delicate blending like this. This step is important because the eyes are such a focal point. Even at this base stage, I want to make sure the tones feel balanced and the shapes are made correctly. So I keep checking how pinks and browns blend into the surrounding fur, making sure everything transitions naturally. It's subtle work, but it really sets up the detail we'll add later on. Once those base colors are in place, you can already see the drawing starting to come to life. And that's when it really gets exciting. Alright, now we're getting into one of my favorite parts, adding details to the eye using pastel pencils. I pay close attention to the pupil and the highlights. These are two things that are everything when it comes to making an eye look alive. For the highlights, I use a strong, clean white pencil, and for the pupil, I go in with a dark, rich black pencil. That strong contrast between the deep blacks and the crisp whites instantly gives the eye that sparkle and depth. I start by building up that bright brown orangey tone of the iris. This is really where the whole piece starts to come to life. When I'm layering this color, I focus on keeping the transition smooth so it still feels realistic and not flat. Let's not forget about the white of the eye. It's never truly white. I add a touch of gray here to tone it down and make it look more natural. Leaving it completely white can make the eye look fake or too harsh, so that soft gray helps it blend in with the rest of the face and the eye. Around the eye, I add some flashy pink tones, but being careful not to use very bright pinks to avoid the eye looking irritated. This helps tie it in naturally with the surrounding skin and fur, adding a little warmth and softness around the edges. Then I start drawing in a few lashes that overlap the eye. These small details adds a lot of realism. It breaks up the smooth surface and makes the eye feel like it's actually sitting in space rather than being flat on the paper. This stage is all about observation and balance. Keep your pencil sharp, use a light touch, and don't rush. Every tiny line and highlight adds up, and that's what gives your artwork that lifelike, expressive look. Now that the base layers and the eye are done, it's time to really bring the Dalmatian's fur to life. For most of this stage, I'm using a very strong white pastel pencil. I actually use it for the majority of the drawing. I like to rotate the pencil every now and then to keep the tip sharp. That's super important when you want crisp, clean fur strokes. I also vary my pressure depending on the brightness of the area. Where the fur catches more light, of course I need to press a bit harder, and where it's in the shadow, I lighten my touch, so I press lighter. That small change in pressure really helps to create depth and dimension. One of the biggest keys to make the fur look realistic is creating the illusion that the white fur is sitting on top of the darker patches, like it overlaps them naturally. So if you're drawing a Dalmatian, this tip is very important, and please keep it in mind when you're drawing a Dalmatian. The secret is to use soft, confident strokes, one clean motion per strand of fur. If you go back and forth too much, you'll start dragging pigment from the darker spots into the white areas, and that can muddy everything up. After a few strokes, I always wipe the tip of the pencil on a microfiber cloth to remove any brown or dark pigments. It keeps the whites clean and bright. In the darker areas, I also mix in some strokes of liver brown, dark brown, and Payne's gray. This adds contrast and depth, making the fur look fuller and more realistic. At the top of the head, where it meets the background, I soften that edge a little by adding a few loose strands of hairs. I'm careful not to overdo it, just enough to make the transition feel natural. Sharp edges in that area can make the head look cut out of the background, but to fix this problem, I just used a few quick, soft strokes so everything blends together beautifully. It is a small step, but it adds so much value to the final look of the artwork. Around the eye area, I even add a few light pink strands of fur. This might sound unexpected, but it adds a very nice variety of color and warmth. Even though we think that the Dalmatians are just black and white fur, probably thanks to the famous cartoon we all know, but when we look closely, their fur actually has subtle shades of pinks, browns and grays. Another thing to keep in mind is that the base layers underneath the white fur aren't completely white, and that's a good thing because it's a little darker and the white pencil strokes on top really pop. This contrast helps your details stand out and give that crisp, realistic texture. And that's why a solid base layer is so important. When it's done well, it makes adding details so much easier and gives your drawing that polished, professional finish. And that's how you can draw a realistic dog eye. I really hope you enjoyed watching the process and picked up a few useful tips, especially about building strong base layers, creating realistic fur, and making the eye come to life. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And if you'd like to follow along with me in real time with my full live voiceover where I explain every step as I go, you can find that version over on my Patreon. You can find the link in the description of this video. Thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.